Another hot day in July, Metro Detroit, humid and hot. Well, here we go. Before you hire another real estate agent to sell your most valuable asset, which is your home, there are 8 questions you should consider and ask that agent before making that decision when you're selling your home. Even if it's your friend, best friend, family member, whoever it might be, you still should consider, when you consider hiring people, you should still ask all 8 questions coming right up. Question number 1. How many homes have you sold in the last 12 months? You see, the average real estate agent across the board sells 3.9 homes per year, and that's the industry average. In fact, 80% of the business is done by 20% of the agents, and that's true everywhere because that's the 80-20 rule. But really, a lot of agents just don't know how to go out and find people to help and actually service them properly. So a lot of people get into the business for a lot of the wrong reasons, and they don't know how to help you get the most money for your house. So the question you need to ask them, first of all, is how many homes have you sold in your career? How many homes have you sold lately? And how does that benefit me? You see, as a seller, it should be obvious that the more homes that the agent has sold, the better they're able to get you not just the closing, but to get you the price that you want. And that's something to consider. Question number 2, what is your plan to sell my house? Too many agents right now, what they do is they place the sign in the yard and they put it on the multiple list service, and they may have a couple of automatic systems go out there to generate some buzz, but they don't do anything. They just put the sign in the yard. We call that the place, sign, and pray effect. And that's great. I mean, that's nice to let your neighbors know or people who are driving by, but really it doesn't create urgency in a buyer. So you have to actually ask that agent, what is your actual plan? And I don't mean an emotional plan. I mean a logical, a proven, a complete strategy from A to Z where they could sit down and walk you through on what that is. Because you need to know that their top priority for you as a client and their obligation to you is to get your house sold at the best price that they can get for you. So what is the plan? And you want to make sure that they have a proactive marketing plan. In other words, they need to be out there hustling. They need to be out there talking to people, potential buyers, potential sellers, other people who in the neighborhood. And there's many things that we do here at Nober Real Estate that you should consider as part of that strategy. Door knocking, neighborhood flyers, postcards, phone calls. We make thousands of calls a day, and the reason for that is that we're always talking to people who need to buy and sell real estate, and everybody is only a few degrees separated. But the agent that just puts the sign in the yard and doesn't talk to anybody is not a good agent for you. Question number 3, the really important question. What is your compensation? How much commission do you charge? Yeah, there's an industry standard, there's a local standard, but there's also personal standards. The question you should ask when hiring your next agent: what are you going to charge me? Is it flexible? Is it based on performance? Is it something that offers a bonus? How does that work? Bonus question when hiring a real estate: what are you going to do to keep me safe and my house safe in a COVID environment? See, here at the Nober Real Estate Group, we do a lot of things, but we keep you and your family safe when you're selling your house. We make sure that nobody's going in and overlapping showings, so there's not too many people there. And we ask us if you're concerned about what may or may not happen in the COVID world and how to sell real estate. You want to ask that question in real estate. But if you're concerned, my information's down below. You can find out more about our Seller Advantage program and our White Glove program that keeps people safe. Question number 4 when hiring your real estate agent: what do you have in place to assure me, the seller, that you're going to do everything that you promise? In other words, how do you know that real estate agent has integrity? And that's really important in our industry. You see, the number one complaint in our business is that an agent comes in, schmoozes with you, talks to you, says a lot of stuff when they come to your house, then they leave. And they don't communicate, they don't follow up, whether it's weekly, daily, whatever it is that you need. What is that plan in place that agent has is going to prove to you that they're going to do what they say they're going to do? It's not just marketing and saying all the fancy stuff that happens. But you still don't want, going back to the other question, that agent is going to put the sign in the yard and then never talk to you. That's the number one complaint, is follow up. And that's an important skill. Not only is it an important skill, it's really important to reassuring you through the entire process. Even if you have great amount of interest in an offer, an accepted offer, there's still a lot behind the scenes that needs to be followed up and managed in order to get you to the closing to put the most money in your pocket. Question number 5. I'm glad you liked the bonus question, but here's an important question. When hiring your real estate agent, how long on average does it take you as an agent to sell a property? You see, every marketplace in every neighborhood has averages, and we can all look at those averages, and we do need to know that as consumers when we sell our houses. But when you ask your agent that you're interviewing, how long does it take them to sell the house? You really need to know. Because you see, if it takes less time for that agent than the average time to sell a house, then you know you have a great agent, and potentially one that understands and uses proactive marketing, understands the marketplace, knows the how to position your property, and most importantly, understands pricing, because all of those factors play into getting not just your house sold for top dollar, but in the shortest amount of time, getting you to your objectives, to your new place, downsizing, whatever it might be, to getting your objectives of putting the most money in your pocket. Really all depends on how long that agent's going to take to get the job done and how well they do it. Question number 6. What is your list price to sales price ratio? Sometimes you get more than you ask for when you price your home to sell. Sometimes you get less than what you ask for. But what you need to look at is when you're getting ready to put your property on the market is what is that agent's ratio? What percentage of the asking price are they actually getting when it sells? So you need to understand the averages, of course, in the marketplace so you can compare them. But you definitely need to ask that question of any agent that you hire. So what this means is that if a house is listed for $100,000 and it sells at $97,000, you're getting 97% sales price to the listing price ratio. So when you ask for a price, sometimes you get more, sometimes you get less. But you need to have an agent that can show you, and if they can't show you their average, that's a huge problem. You're losing equity. You want to work with an agent who has a high list to sales price ratio. The higher the number, the more money they put in your pocket, and that's important. Question number 7. When asking your agent or the agent that you're interviewing, ask, what is their list to sales ratio? And that ratio is a really simple number. How many homes are listed on the market versus how many have sold? And that's really important to understand because you don't want your home not to sell. I mean, who wants to do that, right? So even today, in 2020, July 2020, in Metro Detroit, we have a really hot market. We have a shortage of inventory, with high buyer demand and extremely historically low interest rates. And I'll put the link below to last week's video I did on the Metro Detroit Market Report, which covers all that. But importantly enough, I also talk about how many homes were left in the market unsold at the end, June 30th, 2020. 8,661 homes in Metro Detroit didn't have a contract for sale at all. You don't want to be one of those. You want to know which agent is able to list a home and sell the most of the homes. Not everyone sells, but you want to have a successful agent, and that's a good metric. Which leads me to question number 8. What is their pricing strategy? What is their plan to price your home in order to get it sold? Because it's not just enough to do all these fancy things that we've talked about and understand it. We want to look at data, at information, the market information that's pertinent to your home and your neighborhood, and we want to localize it. We also want to understand what homes are comparable, how do we get the data, and what do we do with that? So in order to price that, you want to have a professional walk you through step by step for a plan that they're going to use to price it to sell. For example, let's say you put it up on the market and you have a price, and after a certain period of time, it doesn't have any activity or it doesn't have any offers. What are you going to do about that? And what's that agent recommend? So you need to know a plan ahead of time, because that way, in order to avoid a disaster, you don't have a disaster plan. You just avoid it by planning ahead. And that's why it's really critical to find the right agent who's professional, who treats this with information, market knowledge, instead of emotion, and can be there to support you in every need. So if you need any more help and you want a consultation on any of the strategies that we've discussed here in this video today, where I walk you through step by step and everything that we're doing at the Norber Real Estate Group, my information's below. I'll leave that below. Feel free to contact me. It's free, no hassle, no obligation. Be happy to sit down with you and find out what your objectives are.